Hello once again, and welcome to this new live stream on a Friday. Today is the last day before the weekend, which means that tomorrow markets are closed. So if you need to get into a good trade, it's gonna have to be today. And I do think that we have a very interesting trade lining up. We were already looking at this yesterday. And just give me a second here to open the chat. Okay, we were already looking at this yesterday, but unfortunately we just slightly front run my level of interest, which if you've watched yesterday's live, you know is between this 94.9, the point of control, which is actually just slightly below, like 94,875, I think, to be exact. With this anchor view up with the lows, and I do think that in about 13 minutes when the stock market will open, I do think we will have that chance to finally perhaps see this move down, and maybe we can get this type of movement to then get in our long trade, which we can just relax over the weekend, because we will have that short trade, which I still have open right here. I did say that I had taken part of the profit last night, so this is now in about $600 of profit. And yeah, so let's see what happens. I think we might get that move down. It is very important to note, however, that this trade, we will only get into it if we get the right reaction. If these lows right here are taken out, and for example, we don't see a bullish reaction here with the reclaim of these levels, we're just not going to take this long trade, and we're just going to let the short trade run. Another thing I want to look at is the fact that you can clearly see we've been ranging here. This has been a range since last night, basically. Started at 7, and we've just been ranging. Could we look at simply this range, this more local range, and perhaps reverse off of an SFP of the low of the local range? We absolutely could. This adds confluence, if anything. We could see that move below the lows and then reclaim the range, and that could be our entry trigger. And that is if we can hold these lows. Honestly, I would prefer that. It's just that if we come as low as here, for example, why would we not go and take the liquidity that we have here? So that's the only thing. Anyways, I think the best option is to wait for the reaction, monitor the order flow, and then we will know what to do. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Bitcoin. Remember to drop questions in the chat about altcoins if you want to take a look at that. I think we had Solana here, which this was not the long. We were considering a possible long, but only if Bitcoin had first reached this target, which was never reached. So Solana is now losing that. Let's see on the higher time frame. Not yet. It's not losing it, it's fighting with it. I would say if we get that move down on Bitcoin during market open and we get that bullish reaction, then we can look at a reclaim of this anchor VWAP. Then we would have this invalidation, and you can attempt a long trade here on Solana as well. I just don't think there is a good risk to reward anymore. Of course, if you target 170, there will be. But yeah, anyways, we're still holding higher lows. This is probably a 618 bounce. Yep. So, if this gets the reclaim, I do think it can run for new highs. But for me, the most interesting remains Bitcoin. Bro, please, could you take a look at WLD and Sol? Okay. So Solana, as we said, that was the move right here. I remember looking at something else too. It must have been, probably didn't save my stuff. Yeah, that was the one. So I think Solana, we need to reclaim the anchor VWAP and also this value area high. That will be important. And this value area low from this smaller range right here. If we can do that, then I do think this is a valid long. So that's what we have for Solana. In the meantime, we can look at WLD. WLD, I think I closed this trade. So WLD, I think I had already covered this, how we reached into this point of resistance. When did this happen? Yesterday. I think yesterday you would have had this short trade. Yeah, that would have been nice. This was the short trade yesterday on WLD. You had that finally that change in market structure on the 4 hours even. You get that retest, and off this retest, you could have taken something like this to look for that full reversal. What I just don't like is that we left these highs. So could be that this gets some strength and then takes out the highs and then reverses. It's good that we took this one, as you can see, but we're missing these two. So that's pretty much it. To be honest here, I don't think I would look for a long. I don't think it's looking good for that. We can try to see. Let's see. No. I would say not a long. Yeah, not the long. Also FED. Thank you very much, of course. So first we had ZEC, where the team quit or something. Had a massive drop. So we had this long on ZEC. Unfortunately, we couldn't get into a short from the top. This failed, and since then it's just been downtrend and massive dump from the founders quitting. And now we took this liquidity, which looks pretty good right here. I mean, this is a good level, I think, for support. Look at that perfect bounce right there on the liquidity. You do have that 4-hour shift. Rejection at the anchor VWAP, which is not very good. I just want to see if these lows... No, this is still not taken. So here's what I would do. Kind of treat this as a range. Okay, we still have 6 minutes till market open. So I do think this is finished business, right? There's not really the need to go back here. This, however, is not finished. So you can see we did not take the highs. So I do think we could, to be honest, see another move up. And we could either get into a short trade of something like this. So then you would have that. And considering this is a pretty bearish token, you would look for that continuation to go and get the lower liquidity that we have here towards 300 psychological. That would be one option. But also here, considering that we finished the business down here and you do have that kind of strength, even though this is just a range, we could attempt a long trade. I'm just not sure whether I would look for that retest here, for example, of retaking the liquidity down here, so something like this, or if I would have to wait for this low. However, the fact that this has already been visited and we did everything we needed to do, we had an SFP, I don't know if we need to go back here. So this is kind of a complicated trade, to be honest. That's kind of a hard one. If you want to take it more aggressive, I mean, I would rather take a short here than a long, but if you want to be more aggressive, you could look for something like this. So coming in at 385. We could look if we have any more confluence. We do have a daily down here. Also, this was a daily as well, which would have been even a nicer trade right there, which would have given you a very nice reaction. We do have another one here now, but again, if we go this low, why would we not go take the lows? That's my only concern. Open in 3 minutes. So I don't know, this one's complicated. We can look for more of a local entry. I mean, to be honest, this could work out. So maybe something like this is better. Retesting here, and then once you get the reclaim, for example, of these lows of the 7.2, then you could get that entry. If we get a price movement that looks like this, that would be the long. Or perhaps you would have to trade the range low again. But I would definitely prefer for the short trade scenario. That way also, if we get first the short and then the long, we would also have, for example, if we get a fake out here, let's say a little bit higher, we would have that confirmed market structure shift looking also at the latest lower high. So that would change the context a bit. And then we can look for that reversal here. We would still maintain the lower, the higher low here. That would be nice. So that I'll keep as an option. But I would say first I would want to see that and then the long here. So I would say something like this. And then if this fails, we still have that short running. So this is going to be the plan on ZEC. I'm going to put an alert up here and an alert here. And I would say this would be the plan. Okay, also I wanted to look at something else on Bitcoin because, of course, when we look at range low, I forgot to say before, we also have to look at range high. And we do have this local range where, for example, we might have that scam move during New York Open to take out all these highs where there's a lot of liquidity and then look for that reversal. Let's see how the market opens. Could we see it as high as here? Yes, we could. We definitely could. To then reverse. I would say if you still have not taken profit on your short, you should definitely take some profit. Still 97. I don't want to see that revisited. Yeah. And then again, this is the same exact as yesterday. I would love for a little bit more of a drop here, even on the TPO, either to fill this gap or to look at this point of control, which would line up really well with what we're looking at. So, someone else requested to see Pippin. Let's look at Pippin. Pippin, by the way, no way, did I get stopped out? No, I definitely didn't. Yeah, I still have this short trade running on Pippin. The only thing is that it's kind of costing me a lot in funding, which is kind of pissing me off. But if this could keep dropping, it will be good. Anyways, market open right now. And let's monitor Bitcoin real quick, because I do think we can get that scam move that I was just covering now. And you could perhaps get into that scalp short trade. So let's see. No, I guess not even the liquidity. Would be nice, honestly, to take that before we drop. Let's see what we have here. Point control, value area high. More local is down. Then this anchor VWAP. Nope. This one. Yeah, I would say this looks good for a potential reversal after taking the highs. So if you're not in a short trade, you could attempt your short trade here. I would always wait, obviously, for the price to go back in. So if you get that, you can get into that short like this to take this down to here. And then that is if you don't already have this short trade, I would say. At least you can have a little bit more confidence when you want along the lower level that we've been looking at, right? So you can, oops, you can have something like that. By the way, I don't really like this pen to be red. I want to switch back to white. Remember FET. Yeah, I'm gonna look at it next. Let's put this in white. There we go. Right, so I mean, not much we need to do now on Bitcoin. Let's just wait for either of these two levels to be hit. So range low and range high. So let's go look at FET. I think we already looked at this the other day. I have it here. Right here. FET. Okay. This seems pretty simple already. I would say you have a range forming. Let's look at 30 minutes, make it easier. So initially you had this range. This is what I would have considered at the time. And you can clearly see we faked out range low, moved back to range high. I would say now, we could consider this as the range low. I don't typically like to do that, but it is a valid range. And once again, this is all range trading. So you have to be patient for either the move below with the back inside to look for then range high, or the move above the range to then look for back down. Could we have here a swing? Let's see. This is nice. The fact that we broke past this point of control and we would retest it on another grab of liquidity of this low. I think that adds some confluence. Let's see if we have any other level lining up with it. Maybe this anchor view up here. That's a little bit lower. It's already been touched, but maybe this one. That's nice. I would say that this can become the... just need to look at something here though. Okay, these lows were not taken. Okay, I would say this is going to be a nice trade, to be honest. Something like this. This can even become a swing trade. This would be like a continuation of the trend type of trade. So you would have that 0382 as well. Let's see. No, that we can't look at. You do have that start of a change in market structure too. So yeah, I don't mind this. Also another thing, for a little bit more of a deeper retracement, we could get that retest here on that value area low. So right there, maybe we have some levels too. Nothing there. Nothing there. No, we don't actually have it. I don't know if that would be enough confluence for me to take that trade. But, I mean, again, we would have to be very patient for a bigger drop of about 20%, which you perfectly know on these altcoins is totally possible. But I would say at this point, we flipped the point of control after a long time. It's been 4 months. So I think this like backtest and continuation would be nice. So I would say my long trade is definitely going to be here. And I'm interested in taking this myself, by the way. So something like this. To take it back to the range high, we didn't even take the highs, which is more confluence there. And then of course, if we start, I mean, the target becomes here after reclaiming that point of control. So 0.34. And then if we flip this area, we can look for these highs up here and then, you know, let this run for higher if it keeps running. But yeah, initially I would stay a little bit more conservative to target that value area high. So I would say trade like this looks good. This is fine. Bitcoin, nothing. Could not even have the strength to take those highs, unfortunately. That would have been honestly a nice scalp short if only we took the highs. By the way, let me show you something. So this morning, I wake up and I get this email, which is sent by myself. I don't know how the fuck these scammers are doing this. Like, I literally don't know how they could send. Well, they make it look like they sent it from my thing. And basically they say, hello, I'm the Chinese software engineer who hacked into your device OS. I've been watching you for months now. You've been infected with malware, blah, 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 whatever. I put together footage. On one side of the screen is the video you're watching at the moment, and on the other side is your satisfied face. So basically he said, I got a video of you masturbating in the bathroom. Nice interior, by the way. Obviously, I got a nice interior. I'm obviously gonna think, oh shit, maybe this guy actually has my meat on video. But then, what happened? This idiot wrote right here, I have access to your WhatsApp and I can see all your conversations with your family. Okay, fair enough. Your relatives, fair enough. Your friends. But then he said, your colleagues and even your boss. Bitch, I don't have a boss. What? What are you talking about? If you hacked into my shit, you should know this. Also, if you hacked into my shit, right, you can see that I have 6-7 figures in crypto. Why the fuck are you sending me an email and you're not scamming my crypto, to be honest? So that was pretty fucking crazy. And then this little bitch ass asked me for 0.012 BTC, right, to send to this address. Why are you asking me for 1K? If you have my phone, you've seen how much crypto I have. You would not be asking me for $1,000. Fucking beginner scammer, bruv. This guy is a fucking jeet. Anyways, God, it's crazy. Bro thinks I'm broke, that I fucking do a 9 to 5 with my boss. Pisses me off. Anyways, fucking trying to threaten me right here. You have 48 hours to pay. Right. Bullshit ass thing. Anyways, let's go back to the charts. I really hope we get this level on Bitcoin, to be honest. That would be nice. But this has been so boring. Typically, you see this move within like the first 10 minutes of market open. This has just been so slow. I'm also going to check order flow here. Nothing. This just looks trash, to be honest. No volume whatsoever. By the way, the reason why I would like to get into this long trade right now is because lately with Bitcoin, we have seen like massive moves during the weekends. I've been saying this for quite a bit. Like, look at this. Right, so we had right here, Thursday, we put in the low on Thursday at 89,000. Friday, no, where is it? This is during the weekend. So the put in the low during a Thursday, get that like little slow rise, but then you don't get another opportunity from Thursday. And from there you had that massive pump into the market open. And then I think also last week, right here, Friday, put in the low on a Monday this time. But then during the weekend, from Wednesday to Friday, here's Saturday. I mean, here's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, big pump of about 7%. So from 88 to 95. So I feel like if this is going to be the reversal point, what we were looking at here, if we can put in this low right here, perhaps during the weekend, instead of, honestly, during the weekend, crypto used to dump. But since now it seems like the trend is changing, would be nice to put in this low finally, which will also look good on the TPO right here, because this right now it looks bad. These are poor lows. These lows are good, so that's also another reason why we could hold this up. These lows are good. These lows are good, even though they're a bit close. But like honestly, the business down here is finished. This is finished. This one's finished as well. But I wouldn't mind going back to this level. And then if we can print today a TPO that looks something like this, okay, where we leave, like we did here, we leave, let me take off the price action. Where we leave this, you see that? This little tail. Basically something like this. If we can see is something exactly like that, where a market open, we see this. So within the next hour or 2 hours, whatever, it doesn't matter. We see that. And then we bring it back up and we start building value right here, right? Something like this. Then I think we can maybe range a little bit during the weekend, and then we can get that retest on Monday to then get that value more up towards 100,000. So something like that would be nice, because this is looking good. This is just value building higher, higher, higher value, higher value, higher value, higher value, higher value. You typically want to go with value, and then it's fine to get these retracements and then build value back up. And for example, you saw this here. So that's a good example, right? I'll show you again. So right here, we had that value, 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 basically a retest to put that lower high, which again, this was on a Thursday. And then once again, building value. I mean, you ranged during the weekend, as you can see. And then on Monday, you got that retest to then pump it up. So would be nice to have that same type of movement. Just this is taking so freaking long, bro. Just need that little bit more of a push. I know that once you get that move, it's gonna follow pretty quickly. Like we just need that little crack, and this will, no, not this, Bitcoin. Anyways, let's keep looking at FET. This is the trade, as I said. Set an alert right here. And then this, I don't think I would trade it. That's the most interesting part for me. We can look at Ethereum as well. Ethereum still chilling here. Once again, this trade was not valid. I said this was an old trade right here. You can take another one, but as I said yesterday, you would have to wait for these lows to be taken. So yeah, yesterday you could have scalped this. As you can see, you took the lows once again. Could have taken a quick trade here. But again, as I said, you want to wait for Bitcoin to first do its move, and then you can look for the trades on the altcoins, on Ethereum, etc., etc. And here the trade, of course, would be to take out all this liquidity, which now has built up. I mean, not really, because these lows look good. But there's just so much choppiness here, as you can see. So I would wait for always that reclaim, either for these lows to be taken one more time, and then I think we would see something deeper to fill this candle. And then once you're back up above here, then that's your trigger to enter on Ethereum as well. And by the time this happens right here on Bitcoin, you hopefully will have this movement. And so then once you get this movement, you can clean up, you can get your entries on all the rest. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's see NEO if it's getting closer to my entry. Kind of, being very, very slow. This is also dreadful, just as much as Bitcoin. I really don't know how long I've been waiting for these entries. Microsoft, it's looking pretty ass. This trade, as I said, I closed break even. Lose this monthly, and I do think it's very likely that we go back towards 400 area that I was talking about yesterday. Here I will be really interested in buying maybe 100,000 or something. This can be really nice for the long term as well. So if you're planning, for example, to get out of fucking crypto scams, and moving into more safer assets, I think Microsoft is a good choice. I think this is definitely one of those buy zones right here. Then you're gonna have your second buy zone right here. And honestly, I don't think we're going lower than 300, but who knows? Because I mean, just look at this chart. This is amazing for long-term investment. I mean, this is like gold, right? When you get those retracements, you definitely want to be exposed. Look at that perfect retest. Could we get it here too? Let's see. What did we get on this one? Oh, that was more of a 382, I think. Yeah. What about here? That would be once again that 618. I really think this is an amazing opportunity that you don't get all the time. But then again, if you lose here, I would say 316. So for those who were asking me about like a accumulation plan, ETF and stuff, when you get these type of opportunities, that's when you want to load up. So yeah, that's it. AVAX, this is just a dead token. I wish it could pump. 224. What else do we have? This, I initially had a really nice trade. I was making some good money. I took take profit 1 here at this value area low. And then I got stopped out of this trade quite quickly, actually. So there's nothing to do here. This is AIO, by the way. Pepe is looking quite terrible. What is this? By the way, I need a feedback. Do you guys rather have a live where you have music on the background or silence to focus and lock in? Please let me know, because I will maybe in the next live stream actually put some music. Maybe it's better for like analyzing, like when we analyze. All right, here we do have, it's already been taken once. You see how good these trades are when you get those like speculative ranges. You can start assuming that this is the range high, this is range low. Simple SFP can really lead you to have these really nice trades like this. Even if you want to be a little bit more conservative and wait for that shift in market structure, even on the 4 hours, 30 minutes, this would have looked good. Where would you have had that market structure? I guess here. I mean, that would have still given you a nice 1 to 2. So if you can like every day get on the charts and start looking at some tokens which have such a structure where you have a clear low and a clear high, you can literally just trade ranges and make money. It's like the easiest thing. I do also want to look at some stocks. Oh, finally, Bitcoin's starting to move down. No, always at the same place. But yeah, it's definitely good to be aware of these ranges. And the thing is, once it's already been taken, I don't like to retake it. You can definitely trade it until it breaks. Like if you now get a down movement on Pepe below the range and you get that bullish reaction, then of course that's a total valid trade. And you, once again, it's better to always match these up with other confluences, but you can literally make money just doing this and finding stuff every day. So see, that for example would actually be good. You have that anchor VWAP lining up. Let's see, maybe you have, no. Yeah, this is good, to be honest. This can be a very nice trade. Let's see if we have some horizontals as well. Nope. No, no. Let's see if we have a Fibonacci. I'm guessing 382. No. It's all right. Yeah, I would say this would be a nice trade, a fake out of the range for that trend continuation. Yeah, we already looked at that. Yeah, I'm gonna set this. This can be a very interesting trade. What else did I want to look at? There was something else I needed to look for. Let's see, maybe higher targets here. Oh, that's nice to have. Let's take this whole range. Oh, look at that. So at this moment, this would have been an easy trade, easy short. We are rejecting at this naked point of control. Actually, I don't even think we reached it. Yeah, we did. So look at that perfect rejection right here off of this. I would have taken this short trade because this was a massive range. And by the way, if we can flip this level right here, this has the potential to run hard. Pepe can run massively. Where's my thing here? Could have that 60-70% bounce, I think. Just needs to reclaim this level here, which is why it could be good to get into such a long right here. Because, and by the way, if you're saying, oh, impossible, we have a 60% run, this was 80% within 5 days. So if you don't think this is possible, you're tripping. This is totally possible. And I think if we can get rid of these, this liquidity that we have down here, you know, first, of course, we're going to take profit. We can target the high. But then potentially, let's say we even give ourselves some space, right? Right here. Potentially, if this runs another 80%, we can be looking at a very nice trade, depending on where our invalidation is. Could be looking at something like this, which will be a 1 to 10, which is really need to flip this. And then, of course, there's other levels we need to flip. There's going to be anchor view ups. There will be resistance towards here, but the final target is going to become here. Anyways, let's look at some stocks. First of all, what's gold doing today? I do want to set an alert here. Because I do think this can be good. Fill up the gap, anchor view up, continuation of this uptrend. I don't know. Could be a little bit deeper. Maybe this is better here. No. Yeah, either intraday scalp on gold at 4.5K or 4.2. For 4.2 starting to be a bit too low. I don't know if we're gonna have that 7% retracement on gold. It's possible. Just don't know if we'll get it. Nvidia. I'm actually still in a long trade here on Nvidia. I sold most of it at 210. We then had that nice drop. I was waiting. I had been saying 160. And we didn't reach it for quite little. About an extra 6% we would have needed to get there. But here we clearly inverted the trend on the higher time frame. So could it be that this is just a bounce for a retest to then take this lower to my target? Could be. I scaled out of most of my position already anyways, and had some really nice profit because I had it since 93. So that was a 1 to 13 trade. I did make about 20,000 on this trade. Could we see this and then that reversal? I think it's possible. I think it's quite doable. We have been ranging now for quite a lot. Yeah, I'm not gonna take a short, but if we can get to my buy zone, I'm not even gonna take this with leverage, but I'm gonna start adding to the stocks. So it will be 150 first, 140, and then this is buy zone 3. And then we're gonna have 120. Could we take it all the way back down to here? I don't think so. It's not looking likely. The stock market is too strong. So unless we see a nice drop. But yeah, this would be really nice. Actually, I'm even gonna put this a little bit lower. I would say, yeah, something like this. This would be so nice on Nvidia, and I think it would be a once in a lifetime opportunity to get back into this token, this stock. Coinbase is looking kind of bearish. Not kind of, pretty bearish. We're below the point of control. I would say next target is going to be 185. You could attempt a short trade here to take this down to 185. With the invalidation above here, you took the liquidity that you had above, retested the point of control. It's not the best short unless we obviously drop to that final target. That would give you a 1 to 4 or 4 to 1. This could be nice, or maybe a little bit more of a wider invalidation, but then you don't get the same risk to reward. But then you could have that nice opportunity. By the way, this was my first area that I called back in April. And from here, we had a massive 200% run. So don't fade the stocks, because the stocks can be really good opportunities. We are bouncing here now. This would have been a nice area, and it can be a nice area still. If, for example, I don't know, we fill this gap down here, we get back above here, then I do think this could make that run, and then it can even help Bitcoin to make a run. But yeah, this can be nice. If not, this is an old level actually, I believe. Yeah. Why did I put this level? Okay, I guess I had a wrong level here. You do have a monthly. That one's not being tapped. And the monthly was here. There's some nice opportunities here, I think. This 127 is looking good too. It's just that it would require much more of a drop of around, there's Bitcoin, of around 46%. So I don't think that's very likely at the moment. Of course, unless we mega drop on Bitcoin, which is possible. All right, the lows have been taken now on Bitcoin. So would I take a scalp long already? To be honest, not yet. Again, as I always say in every single live, you can, because you technically touched the anchor VWAP, you took the lows, but I'm waiting for this lower target. I want people to long now, get wrecked, and then I get into my long. Even though this is valid, it's totally valid. You could miss the trade, right? You could front run all these levels. Is it likely that you front run these levels? Not really, not typically. So let me check order flow. Order flow, it's shorts opening. which is good. Very small amount of shorts though. So I would say the real move hasn't happened yet. There's only about 600,000 shorts opening. I would like to see millions. If we get millions of shorts opening here, all the way down to here, then I'll feel very confident in taking this. In the meantime, I'm happy. Oh shit, I thought I got stopped out for somehow. Meanwhile, I'll be happy to stay in this short trade, which is making $700 now with the profit that I already took. Can I make this bigger? Oh shit. All right, so let's see. Maybe we get that entry today. That would be nice. And let's see what the CME is looking like. Let's turn these back on, delete all of this. I hope these explanations are clear and you're learning something. Please do tell me if I'm not clear enough and you need some more explanation, but I think it is pretty clear. So again, we still have 27 minutes for this candle. If this candle closes bullish, then yeah, we might have that opportunity. We might not reach down to here. But as I said, typically, it's not likely. I know some of you are already trading this because you're a bit impatient. And as usual, sometimes it works out, sometimes you get wrecked. I really do like this anchor VWAP being retested, which could be one of the reasons why we don't go that low, because this is a very important anchor VWAP, which we've rejected many times from all-time high, right? So to see this anchor VWAP being retested, no, sorry, it's not the one from all-time high. It's the one from 116, which is still a very important anchor VWAP. Seeing it flipped and retested gives me that higher percentage probability that we could see the reversal here, because we did take the lows. It is market open. We don't have to go and take these levels, and that would also keep better lows here. So could you do a starter position? I mean, I could start buying 0.1 Bitcoin and put a super wide invalidation around here and risk $200. Yeah, I could do that, to be honest. I might. But I'm going to be a little bit more patient and conservative here. But this is 100% a nice move. It is 30 minutes into the market open. So what you guys have seen, if you guys record statistics, you'll see that you can start tracking when the low is put in for a trade, like how much time it passes between market open and the moment in which you put in a trade. And typically it's at around 4 p.m. European time, 4 to 6 p.m. I mean, between 15:30 and 5 p.m. 15:30 is 3:30, in case you don't know European times. I know some people from the US do 3 p.m., 4 p.m. and they don't know what 15 means. But yeah, I mean, this can definitely turn out to do this. So that's your choice, whether you want to be aggressive. The thing I would say is, if you are taking the long now and you're being aggressive, don't put your stop loss down here. That would just be stupid. Give yourself space. Either take a smaller size trade and keep in mind that you could be stopped out, and so then you have something like this, right? And then if you get stopped out, it's no big deal, but go light because it's likely to get stopped out. And then if you go and tap these levels and then you have that nice bullish reaction, then you can look for that reversal and you can take another trade after losing this one. Or if you want to be aggressive, go much smaller size. So if you want to trade 1 Bitcoin, go 0.2 Bitcoin, but give yourself like a lot of space, because I do think it's possible. Not all the way down here, obviously, maybe below these lows, or maybe even a bit lower I would do, because it is totally possible that before we see that reversal, we liquidate some longs and this actually goes much deeper, like here, and then you get that reversal. So it depends on your strategy, it depends on your way of trading. I've done my fair share of longing too early to then get liquidated. So it's not my type of strategy. But of course, that also means that sometimes I will miss the lows and the trade, and I won't get the best entries. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think there's many more things that we need to look at. There's no more requests on the chat. So I would say we can end this here. And then if I take my trade, I will update you in the Discord. So I will wait. Oh, sorry guys. My chat was not updating. Now I see the chat. My bad. So no, we're not gonna end it now. I see someone said no music. Okay. That's why I was like, damn. I asked like a question, nobody's answering. Damn. But now I see that actually that there was some answers. So let me see. You replied to someone about the Vanguard ETFs, but which one in particular you would suggest? I'm looking into this stuff too. Right. For ETFs, I would say actually the best broker, it's not really a broker, but the best thing you could use is actually Revolut. I looked into it and it's really nice. And let me see, maybe I have it here on this old broken phone, which I'm supposed to change. Right, I have it here. So I obviously don't keep much money on this Revolut, but I might shift quite a lot of money on this, because if you go in the investment area, so right here, I mean, you can see I have 0. I don't know if you can see this. But if you go here and you go on trade, the first things that they suggest is a investment plan. And if you go on the investment plan, ETFs, you get here the index ETFs. By the way, look at that nice pump on Bitcoin. So these index ETFs, it literally says most traded this week, Vanguard, S&P 500. That's the one you want to go for. When you select it, you will see right here at the bottom, it will give you an estimation. So it says, if you buy 200 euros per month, every single month, it estimates that your contribution will be 50,000 in 20 years. Of course, you put 200 a month, every single month, 12 times a year. So that's going to be 2.4K for 20 years. That's going to be 48,000. Or he says 50,400. Your projected value in 20 years will be 300,000. So that is 6 times your investment. So in 20 years, that's good. Of course, if you have a higher budget, if you put 1,000 a month, every single month, your projected value will be 1.5 million. If you put 3,000 a month, your projected value will be $5 million or euros. So I would say, set it up on here, on this ETF or whatever ETF you like, do your research. I would go for simple Vanguard S&P. And yeah, you can set up a recurring buy and you're chilling. Yeah, I would say that's a good one to do. I'm gonna start doing this too. I want to put quite a bit of money in the stock market. So yeah, that's regarding ETFs and long-term investments. Can we take the short at 95.8? To be honest, if we go back to these highs, would I take the short at 95.8 after taking the liquidity here? I don't know if I would, because at this point you put in a really nice low at market open. So I don't know if that would be as good. Is it possible? Yeah, you could see that after seeing this. But who knows? It's like any trade. You have the chance of not working out or of it working out. I think context changes a little bit and it's a bit less likely to work out on the short. Maybe music less, keep you locked in. Okay, it seems like everybody prefers silence, so no music. Take a look at BNB. I see a nice short, but I don't know too correlated to Bitcoin. Look at Tau. What broker do I trade stocks? Either my bank, which is Fineco Bank. It's an Italian bank. Or you can download, for example, eToro or Interactive Brokers, Trading 212. Now BitGet offers trading of stocks. BTC and POC touched. No, yeah, as you said, not yet. BNB, we're here and appreciate the stream. Thank you. Can we take the short? Oh yeah, that already answered. Okay, so let's look at BNB, let's look at Tau, and then we'll be done. This fucking pisses me off because it's the second time that I've been conservative and it seems like I've missed the low again. I don't want to jinx it, but it seems like this could be the low. We still have 17 minutes to the candle, so if this in 10 minutes like reverses all of that and then we get a candle that looks like this, that would be bearish, and then I would say okay, it's totally possible to go get this liquidity now. But yeah, whatever, I have to be patient and stick to my plan. Anyways, let's look at BNB. BNB has been one of the strongest tokens. BNB USDT.P. Damn, this just compared to all the other altcoins has not kind of not too much. So do we have a short here is the question. I don't think so. I would say you're probably looking more at longs here. You want to go with the trend. This is not like all the other altcoins. So you can see right now we're flipping that value area high very nicely too, with some demand and supply area as well. If we get the reclaim of 932, we could see that bigger move to 1.1k. You could get a short trade potentially. But to be honest, nothing is lining up well on this. Maybe, I mean, not even here. I would say it's looking more likely to move towards 1000. If you really want to risk it, you could look at a long trade here. You do have the market structure shift. We do have that retest. You could take it here, to be honest. It's risky. I would give myself space. This looks nice for something like this. This would be a swing, by the way. This would take some time to then target 1000 first, and then 1.1, and then potentially even higher. But I would give myself more space. I wouldn't put the stop loss here. I would probably even put it down here, to be honest, because if you get to the final target, that is still a 126. And if you instead reverse at this anchor VWAP, it's still a 123. So yeah, that is a nice stop loss that gives you space. Because also keep in mind, could do that, then reverse. So this could be nice on see, I was about to say Airbnb. This can be nice on BNB. It's a bit more aggressive to take your entry here, but you do have the retest of the 618. You have the retest of the value area low. You already retested the value area high up here. So I would say that's a pretty good trade. Even if it fails, it's still a good trade. Final target would be 1.2, by the way. So this can really turn into a nice big swing trade. I mean, we have support here of this anchor VWAP. This one, not so much. weekly or above. There is a lower weekly, but it seems like we already made a nice recovery from that low. Let me check chat as well. One sec, because it tells me I'm not live anymore. Okay, give me 1 second. Live trading. There we go. What do you think of leveraged ETFs? Leveraged ETFs is also an option. It just adds more risk. So yeah, anyways, this BNB trade could be nice. Now your choice is to either take it right now, so literally now, or to wait for another move down for that SFP and then look for that reversal. I'm not like rushing for trades, so I'm gonna wait for this to happen. If I don't get it, that's all right. Maybe I'll take it a bit higher towards 397 if we get that nice reclaim. But yeah, once again, why am I not taking it now? Because I still want to see that little bit of a down movement on Bitcoin. And I feel like this is going to work out pretty well with Bitcoin, putting in the low. What do you think about New York Open, low, high, Asia Open, low, high, and London? I see some traders that are profiting with those levels. Yeah, I think those levels are fine if you're looking, for example, at ES. So when I was trading ES here, I would look, for example, I think I had an indicator. I even had my whole template on this. Let's see. I used to have a template that would give me all those levels automatically, but I guess I don't have them anymore because I stopped trading. But yeah, those are definitely good things, but I wouldn't look at them on Bitcoin. I would look at them, whatever. I don't have it here. Maybe here, wait. No, whatever. Yeah, if you're trading ES, why not? There are definitely levels you want to be looking at where you can potentially look for a reaction. Anyways, last look at Tau, even though I've looked at this token so many times, so there's not going to be much more of an update. I think I have a lower target on Tau. Oh no, I was waiting for that bigger move. I did say that this was a potential short trade and that I would understand why we're rejecting from there, and it's because of this point of control here. There we go. Now we got that move down on Bitcoin. Oh wow, I actually didn't see this. This would have been a perfect trade. SFP of the SFP for that move down on that point of control. That would have been very nice. So unfortunate. I would say either wait for a higher move for a new short trade, or I feel like this is probably already starting its downfall towards 250, 240. All right, let me see if we tapped my level finally. Seems like we perfectly tapped it now. So now I'm already more interested. I'm obviously not gonna rush into it. And by the way, look at that. That 30-minute candle closed exactly like I was saying. Now you have that wick. This looks bearish. And now we are at my level. Why do I not trade ES anymore? Because I was too concentrated on it. I would go crazy. Like I would dream it at night and stuff, so it was not healthy. Day trading was kind of like fucking with my brain. So let me check order flow here. We do have some shorts. They're above, majority of them at 94,900. So I'm not gonna take it yet. I do think we can go lower. I first want to see that nice reaction and then I'll take it. By the way, at this moment, the long is printing. So I will take another 10% here. I'll do it live with you guys. There we go. So slowly scaling out of this short trade. Definitely not going to close all of it, but I'm definitely going to be taking some profit because I am starting to be interested in taking this long. And once again, no bullish reaction so far. No need to be taking this trade yet. Let it run. Let it go down more if it needs to. Once we get the reclaims, we can wait, for example, for a 5-minute market structure shift. Once we start seeing the nice reaction, we'll be a little bit more late, but at least we're not trying to catch that bottom. All right, so for example, what can you do? We can wait for a reclaim of 95,000. Is it still going to be a nice trade? Absolutely yes. We can even wait for a reclaim of these lows. And then if the wick is put here, just to take this back up to the range high, there will still be a 1 to 2. And then if we're looking for new highs again, there will be a 1 to 9. And if we're targeting that 100,000, there will be a 1 to 16. So there's no need to rush into this. Obviously, would it be nice to get the exact low? Yes, it's just risky. So anyways, yeah, that's it. This 30-minute candle in 6 minutes would be nice if it closes above. Get that wick. The time is perfect to put in the low. Yeah. Okay, now I like it. Now I see 6 million shorts opening. Now I'm going to start opening some position long. So I'm going to start with 0.2. And look at that. That's 95,000. Took my order. Now I'm still leaning more on the short. As you can see, I have 0.3 short and 0.2 long. But I will build this back up. I mean, I will build this up slowly when I see that reaction. But yeah, that's looking good, to be honest. I like the move down here. Oh, look at that. Before we know it, that was a really quick reaction. And on order flow, as I said, we have now 8 million longs stuck down here, which is nice. So I'm actually going to add a little bit more and match this to my short. There we go. So now I'm pretty much the same size exposed, both to the upside and to the downside. Let's see if we got any other alerts here. So we have Sui, which is also onto my entry here of an SFP. But I think we need to be a little bit more patient here. Wait for that reclaim. So I'm going to set an alert up here, and I will take this long trade if we reclaim the lows and we close the candle above. By the way, this is just a starting position. Most of the shorts are actually stuck right at the bottom. I wish I could show you this on my XO. This is looking quite good. Order flow is good. The wick is good. I'm just not going to set a stop loss because I do know that we can go a little bit lower before we see that reversal. But the more I look at this, the more I like this. So now I'm going to expose myself a little bit more to the upside. So where I want to be a bit more. There we go. So I got 0.4 long, 0.3 short. So it's kind of like I'm 0.1 long. And if this keeps losing, I will still be covered by this. And that's why I'm not putting a stop loss. But that's because I'm in a short. So I do think we can see another move down, get more shorts, and then I'll be down to add until here. Of course, if we lose this area, then I will close the long at a loss. But for now, I'm happy to add my size here. So that's pretty much it. Let's see what happens in the next minutes. I will add more size. That's not much for me for a long trade. I do want to get to like 1 to 2 Bitcoins, but that is my aggressive entry for now. So I'm being aggressive on my entries, and that's 0.4. The more conservative part, I will add, for example, 1 Bitcoin, and that will be on more of a lower time frame market structure shift, etc., etc. So if we start seeing something more like that, then I'll add, like, for example, 1 Bitcoin a bit higher, and then I'll have my invalidation down here. For now, I'm protected by my short, so I don't need to be putting my stop loss. But yeah, I am in that aggressive little size. Once again, this is kind of like I only have 0.1 Bitcoin long. As you can see, as this loses, this gains. So I hope that is clear. And now, guys, I will close this this live stream. Just gonna check chat. Yes, I do have that BitUnix ref code. You can text me in. You can text me on Discord, and I'll give it to you. You do have the cashback as well. So, for example, when I trade, I get a percentage back into my spot account every single day. So, for example, if you get 20% back on the fees, these fees right here that I paid, $33, I will get back 20% or 40% or whatever, and I can do that for you as well. So just text me, and whoever is interested, it's a really nice platform, to be honest, for trading. And every single day in your spot account, you will receive part of that feedback, which is nice. Especially if you're unprofitable, that helps you being a little bit less unprofitable. All right, so I'm gonna close this now, and I will see you in Monday.